ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room, inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, all right. Welcome to the Boiler Room. Thank you for joining us tonight for this live broadcast. It is June the 12th, Thursday, June the 12th, 2025. I'm your host. My call sign is Hesher. I'm Brian McLean, broadcasting live out of Central Texas. Thank you for joining us for yet another, somewhere in the 500th or 600th Boiler Rooms. We're very happy that you joined us here tonight. If you're watching live, extra special shout outs to you. We are live on YouTube, we are live on X, and we are live on Rumble tonight. And we'll be going out in the audio streams via Spreaker. And then from there off to all the manifold other podcasting platforms. So it is great to be here with you. It's riot season. It's riot season once again here in the United States. So for our friends out there not in the United States, hello from riot season here in the United States. Check it out. I'll breathe fire for you. There you go. Breathing fire over the ice there. Yes, it is riot season here in the United States. And Los Angeles was the kickoff zone for this year's riot season, and it's as stupid as all the other riot seasons that we've seen as we degrade further into clown world, into what is this reality I woke up and found myself in. Did they reboot the simulation, and are we stuck in some sort of reboot cycle? The internet is no longer the internet. Web searches are no longer web searches. AI has taken over all your searches. That explains why our search results have sucked for the last 4 years. Now they're better as long as you use AI and as long as you trust AI, or you know how to question AI into the dirt to make sure you've got all the information or that it's not hallucinating on you. And we're on the cusp of all the news being written by AI, and perhaps all of the stagecraft scripts that were being fed written by AI. I mean, who knows? Who knows? It's pretty creative. Those algorithms are pretty creative. But let's see. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. We've got riots going in LA that have spread to other cities. We've got a strike in the Middle East on Iran. We've got more and more a growing set of context coming into the normie zeitgeist, or at least the fringe zeitgeist, about panopticons, about Palantir and all that good stuff. So plenty to go over this week, and I'm going to bring my friends in. I'm going to start with Mystical Pharaoh. He is dropping into the boiler room here, as I'm sure he's lighting the coals in the hookah and getting the loose leaf tea all set up for tonight's broadcast, broadcasting from his most comfortable bunker that smells of fine hookah smoke and leather-bound books. Mystical Pharaoh, welcome to the boiler room.
Thanks, man. That's pretty good description there. I don't have hookah tonight, but yes, it's usually what it smells like.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, no hookah tonight, but that's okay. We got serious business to do. This is not a super chill boiler room, right?
No. It's my room tonight smells like mummies and dead things.
Mummies and dead things. Yes. There was a here's a funny story. When I was in high school, I was always on a quest for the next goriest, most offensive horror movie I could find. And then I found myself in the depths of B horror movies and Italian horror movies and foreign films. And I don't remember from whence this one came, but there was one called Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. And I thought that was just such a compelling film title, Mr. Farrow. So much so that when we had our yearbook come out when I was a senior in 1993, you had a senior quote. You had a senior picture and a senior quote. And for my quote, I simply put, "Children should not play with dead things."
There you go.
And guess what? They didn't print it. It did not make the yearbook. So, fun fact for those of you collecting fun facts on me, my senior quote did not make the yearbook, but it was, "Children shouldn't play with dead things."
I think I agree with that.
Yeah. Rings truer now than ever, right?
That's right.
All right.
From Gaza.
Yeah, no, oh man, don't even get me started. Okay, let's welcome the Ruckus among us. Ruckus, what's up? Welcome to the boiler room, dude.
Yo, what's crack-a-lackin'? I am struggling with my OBS stuff today. There we go. We'll just go like that for now until I can find an appropriate setting that works. Anyways, hey, you got the right idea there. Burning down the ice. Get it? It's very clever, very tongue-in-cheeky. Anyway, yeah, that was a fun one to make. So yeah, there's just a couple little things happening in the world today. Who am I kidding? There's a lot of big things happening. So much so that tonight's format might be slightly different. I hear a rumor, but regardless, thanks for having me, Asher.
Yeah, absolutely. Spore's chilling in the background. She told me to say hello to all of you out there. She's not going to be joining us tonight. The four of us, we had a boiler room sort of pre-production meeting before the show here, and thank you everybody that dropped some links in the boiler room. We had everything from I'm suffering from Ozempic penis to Greta Thunberg and fellow activists refused to watch October 7 videos before being captured and deported. We had Brazilian comedians sentenced to over 8 years in prison. We had Amazon testing humanoid robots to deliver packages. What else? We had a whole bunch of stuff. We had a crazy meth head who pulled his meth head wife out of a nursing home to bring her home and let her die of a methamphetamine overdose. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that is floating around right now. Thank you, by the way, Brian and Timmer and Brazen Ray and Photon and Cavi and Funk and Ruckus and everybody that has been dumping stuff in the Icebreaker suggestion channel on the Boiler Room Discord. We love looking at it, but tonight Spore decided she was going to hang out in the background, and we were just going to read the headlines out real quick and give everybody a shout out that dropped us their attempts. It kind of feels like everybody's feeling the same as we are right now about wacky, weird whiskey tango foxtrot things on the internet. It's all become, dare I say, pseudo normal now to have shocking headlines. So and they all feel like echoes of things that we talked about many years ago. So we're going to forego it tonight and jump right in with probably what's going on in Los Angeles. So let me just go around the room and see what everybody's thinking. Get the barometer here. Mystical Pharaoh, you've been watching. It's day 6 or 7 now of the Los Angeles anti-ICE riots, mostly peaceful, fiery riots. What are you tracking so far?
Oh, well, can I start that we, as a nation, are suffering from incompetence problem, right? So I voted for Trump, as my subtitles say here, to deport them all, right? Number one, there is no plan, right? complete chaos, right? So they send some agents to Home Depot in freaking LA, right? With no plan whatsoever. What are you expecting, right? Um, so if I'm in his place, right, the simplest thing I would do is, even if I don't have a plan yet, so I'm still trying to figure this out, right? So I would go start figuring this out in red state, right? I would actually start deporting in red state and work with red state governors, right? Until I figure out mechanism of how can I do that really large scale deportation program, right? But no, instead we're just gonna go randomly in LA and some other cities, right? And start chaos there. So the way it was handled from the beginning, from the Trump, from the administration side, right, is completely wrong. It gave that fuel, right? Now, I mean, what do you expect? Here you go. That's right, right? So at the same time, we know, right, that there is a summer of love that's gonna come, right? So what would be the excuse? That's the easiest one, right? So opportunity opened up and they took it, right? And honestly, like, I'm sort of like thinking that even Trump wanted to take that opportunity too, so that he doesn't do the mass fucking deportation program that he was talking about. And guess what? Like few hours ago, he came out and said like, "Oh, our farmers and our leisure uh, hotel industry are gonna suffer for deporting illegals. So I'm gonna focus on my deportation on criminals, right?" So he's already tackling out, right? And I think about giving amnesty to those that work in farming and in mass farming, which we're all against, right? We're all about like against mass farming because what they did to all of us, right? And how they destroyed the entire industries here in the US, farming industry. And he wants to give them like amnesty and he wants to continue this. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, this is not what I voted for. I did not vote for that.
Let me I like what you're saying here, and let me pose this question to you. I like what you said about why not, if you're going to have a mass deportation program. We've got over 200 million people here illegally, just in the last 4 years before Trump came in via the Biden administration's policies. It would make a lot more sense to work with red state governors, because it's not just a border state problem, as people said over and over and over again before Trump got in. They said it's an every state problem because they were being bussed and flown and given credit cards and sent to places all over the country, in the middle of the country, both sides of the country, the north and the south of the country. So you've got a problem that is so much bigger than the amount of available force, right? Sure, they put extra money into ICE, whatever. They changed the policies with ICE, new FBI, new Homeland Security, the whole kit and caboodle, right? It's all Trumpian, right? It's all 47. So why not start with the states that voted for you, and the governors that have been crying for help with the issue? And why not start with a prioritized list that starts with cartel members, human traffickers, fentanyl dealers, and pornographers and the like, kidnappers, felon class people, before you start raiding, country clubs and farms and other weird shit. And why not if you're Donald Trump, riddle me this, Pharaoh. If you're Donald Trump, why not leave a a bit of buffer room for states' rights? In California, all their politicians and most of their voters, and apologies to those of you that are not in this category. I know there's a lot of you there, but politically in California, when it comes to the vote, they're all voting for these policies that led to these problems, these issues, these racial tensions. Why not let them have it? Why not let them have what they voted for, right? Like, why get in their faces? Why be polarizing? Why be ham-fisted in the states that don't want you doing it? Like, it just seems like it's so much more divisive than it needs to be, and it diminishes states' rights, which, I think most of us here would like to see more of, not less of. And just imagine if we don't have to imagine if the shoe was on the other foot, because we saw the shoe on the other foot and it looked the same. It just looks like authoritarianism.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I think that's what leads me to think that he's almost doing that intentionally, the administration is doing that intentionally so they can get out of that, right? So they can create a fuss and then he issue a statement like what he did today. You know what? Oh yeah, we actually don't need to deport all of those people.
So as we have pointed out so many times, and as we're always disappointed to see, the public and the rest of the world watching has been set up for a dialectic. This would be my argument, at least, that there's a political dialectic here, and it's supposed to be a red versus blue dialectic. And I would argue that it has been a successful application of a dialectic, because we're now seeing conservative influencers and those many in the MAGA crowd and conservatives on Capitol Hill saying, deploy Palantir. We want to know everything about those people there that are protesting. And there's this big argument about whether the protesters are astroturfers, whether they're Soros deployments, Antifa deployments, whatever. And it's just all so moot. It all seems so moot at this point. Like, I don't know. Hey, it's great to see everybody in our chat rooms. Nate Alexander, what's up, everybody? Says Nate. What's going on, Nate? We got Sounds up in there. We got Fleety up in there. Awake Jake. Brian, what's going on? Spores in there. Fleety's in there. Great to see everybody. We got some commenters over on YouTube and Rumble. We got Amy in there. What's up, Amy? We got Digital Minefield. We got Jason. Great to see everybody. Chloe, what's up? Good to see everybody over there. Thanks for being here for the show. Now, yeah, dude, it feels like Ruckus. What do you think, man? It just feels like we're in dialectic town right now, and nobody wants to discuss the nuance.
Well, there you go. I mean, like, I'm very hard pressed. I'm like, I don't even know what. I'm like, so what's this one about? It's like it doesn't even matter what it's about. It's just the same. It's the same cookie cutter crap over and over and over again. Except like, there's one. I guess there's a couple observations here. I mean, at what point are these things naturally occurring? Because they're just, it was a self like they built the stage and now they don't. How much effort now do the shady organizations behind the scenes, the George Soroses and whatnot, how much effort do they need to go through to provide the piles of bricks and to bust them in? Or do they know that if they just tweak the emotions just right on social media and in the news, they don't have to do that? Because these people are going to just, they're already triggered, they're ready to go, they know the old tactics, they've been sitting around bored as AF since the last one. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about just how much of an orchestrated, hands-on psyop this is, and more curious about, was this more of an experimental, hey, we can push that button anytime we want to? But then you look at some of the stuff and you're like, oh, okay, so they're camped out. We got one side hanging out at the Home Depot, and the cops are hanging out at the donut shop. You can't make this shit up. But then you got like people like Elon Musk brings up all the time, like the most amusing outcome is the most likely, and I'm like, or the most entertaining outcome. So I don't know. I mean, the world is very strange sometimes. It really, truly is. But as far the vast majority of the arguments that people are making, trying to present evidence this time around that XYZ are involved, I'm like, you guys are just grasping straws. Back in the day, maybe you did some actual work, but now you're resting on your laurels and just making a bunch of assumptions, and that could get you in trouble if it's not true, But, the other thing is, of course, quite concerning to see people pushing for Palantir, quite literally. And then we had, I didn't sit down and watch it yet, but it's on my list. But Tim Dillon was running around saying that Palantir was literally paying people off, like podcasters, like the usual suspects. And I'm like, man, I just made a theory about that on Weaponized News on Monday, where I hang out with Weaponized News. Shout out to Weaponized News every Monday night, about how the fact that Laura Loomer was literally pushing for Palantir, and I was making the joke like, well, hey, remember when the media during the P word, they were all pushing for the J word, the V word, right? And it turns out that they were probably all invested. They were invested in the stocks. How much do you want to bet like Palantir stockholders involve like the likes of like Laura Loomer and Sean Ryan and Alex Jones, and I could go on and on. But yeah, maybe. But but apparently they're literally running around just paying people off. So it's ridiculous. I'm like, so is this all like whatever whoever's literally, or how they're pushing the buttons or the levers, whatever the magic sauce is, what's the ultimate goal? And I believe that it's all related to the technocracy. It's all related to the furthering, let's nail the coffin lid shut on America with the Palantir technocracy. And it's a perfect opportunity, as you guys are discussing, like nothing's been done. So what we need is an ultimate amount of chaos, a huge problem, everybody reacting, and then we can roll up with a solution. And the solution is probably going to be dialed down to, more technocracy. And somebody somewhere is going to make a killing. So I wish I'm just jealous. I want to know which stocks should I be investing in. That's all.
Well, clearly we should all be investing in Palantir. I mean, they're
I've done that twice and I can't, I feel bad every time. So I stopped doing that.
yeah, man, I know. It's like we've been sitting here waving our hands about Palantir for a decade on this show. Even before the show started, we started flagging that up, and I'm happy to see that it's in the common vernacular now and people know what's up. But man, I want to give a quick shout out to a new channel I discovered on YouTube. They're called Do Dissonance. Maybe some of you guys have seen Do Dissonance, but
I'm quite familiar with them.
yeah, they're great, man. I really dig their program, and they brought together a collage of Alex Karp quotes on one of their recent ones, which I've been collecting also. And it was wonderful to see them all played back to back. We'll probably end up doing something similar here because there's just so many gems that Alex Karp has tossed out there lately. And one of the ones that they flagged up on X, you can find it on the Palantir X account. They made a post and they said that, forgive me if I get the numbers wrong, I'm going by memory and paraphrasing here, but they said that they were going to open up 130 positions at Palantir for Jewish students only at Columbia University who felt scared for their safety. So, I mean, you can really see where Palantir is going. It looks like Santa Claus has joined us here. Santa Claus,
Chris
what's
Kringle
up, man?
is here again.
Oh, my little children. Oh, have you been not good little boys? Oh, Pharaoh, I see that you've been very naughty.
So, Santa Claus,
Naughty with the steroids.
do we get on the naughty list by pointing out that
You're on the naughty
Palantir
list if you're against Palantir and the and Peter Thiel's great works that he is doing.
All right, so we're not supposed to talk down about Peter Thiel's and the PayPal
Peter Thiel
Mafias.
is one of my many secret helpers.
Okay. I knew it. I knew
Santa Claus is like the OG. I think Palantir stole the technology from him.
That's right. We're keeping a list and it's checking it twice, just like our friends at
That's right.
Palantir.
Well, Santa Claus, I was about to say you're out of season, but when it comes to keeping lists and checking it twice, I guess you're right on time.
That's right. Santa Claus is always watching, just like Peter Thiel, the gay vampire.
He is, though, isn't he?
He is a gay vampire, yes. By which I mean he's a homosexual man who runs or at least ran a company to take young people's blood and inject it in old people's blood, which is a vampiric thing.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. We got
It is what it is. I'm not the one who made him be a gay vampire. He chose that life.
no. And this is the 21st century. This is the time where you can be that and be out and be part of the Trump administration, right?
That's right. That's right. You can be.
Yeah. I'm curious, Sumo, out by that line of thinking, what you just did there with the gay vampire. Could you do one similar for Rabbi Shmuley? I wonder. You could think about it.
Man.
Similar. I'm not sure if eating or foreskins is. I mean, there's blood on it, right? But like, it's not the point. The blood isn't the point. It's sort of a side issue. So I don't know if that counts. I don't know if Shmuley is a vampire. He's a four-pyre. We need a new term for someone that sucks on foreskins.
Vamp foreskin.
Yeah.
All right, we got Sumo with us, dialing in from the Mystical American Patriot Society tonight. It's good to have you here, man.
Oh, good to be here.
So what do you think about Los Angeles, dude? I mean, it's spreading to other cities. I mean, I'm starting to think that this is not a specific. You see all these like Con Inc. people just like California has fallen. No, it hasn't. It voted for these things. It wanted these things. Like this. They have states' rights. They can be, like pseudo Mexico if they want to, and all that stuff, right? Like people can leave. I left. I didn't like it, and I left. Me and Spore were like, screw this. We're out of here. What?
Yeah.
Forced injections and all this like crap. No, I mean, we're gonna just go to Texas where you can carry guns and have an endangered species sitting on the passenger seat of your truck.
Yeah. Amen. I don't think it's. Well, I don't think that it is an insurrection at all. It's obviously like state sanctioned, which can't be. Definitionally can't be. It's just it's. What people have to realize that America loves slavery, and we always will. We always have, and America wants people to do DoorDash and to run gas stations and to pick crops and mow lawns for next to nothing. And anything that gets in the way of that will be shut down. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
But Santa Claus, the conservatives say that's only 32% of the people that come here from there. So what about the other 68?
Well, they're supplying all of our drugs, which people also want. People love the drugs. Americans love, if there was a symbol for America, it's the bald eagle, and then with maybe like an I heart fentanyl emoji or something.
Yeah, crack pipe.
Yeah, crack pipe. Crack is a little high class for the modern American, but
it's a little dated, right? It's like
a little dated. What you want now is fentanyl. People love fentanyl. They just love it. And if without the Mexicans, how would we get it? You got to think about it like that. The conservatives never have an answer for where will we get the fentanyl. Never. They never bring it up.
We need to make America great again and bring fentanyl manufacturing back here on home soil.
Is that what they're so mad about? Because we're not making it domestically?
Yeah, that's what all my entire life, people were like, we got to bring back manufacturing. We got to bring it back. And then the second anyone tries to do anything remotely related to that, if the line of the stock market goes down a blip, they all freak out, and so you can't take anything what the voters say seriously. They don't actually mean anything. What they're saying is, I want X to happen without any secondary consequences. I want everything to be the same, but this one thing to be different, which is,
Well, well, that gets problematic when what you want to remain the same is your ability to inflate your virtuous nature. Voting cycle by voting cycle, though, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's like a self-licking ice cream cone of doom.
I like that image, a self-licking ice cream cone of doom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you actually said something I always said. Soon was, Americans love convenience so much that they will enslave themselves with that love of convenience, right?
They,
Because they,
yeah, absolutely. America, I mean, that's a bigger problem in itself, though. The technology, anything that's more convenient slightly than anything else is going to win, unfortunately. And if what is more convenient for the average American is to fly someone from El Salvador here to drive them a burrito in a private taxi, that's what's going to happen, no matter if it makes sense or not.
yeah, and it is modeled in modern day slavery, right?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's absolutely what it is, and it baffles me that CNN and all those liberals keep talking about, oh, we need these people to do our farming. I'm like, you guys are talking about
It's so
slavery,
good.
right?
Yeah, it's like, where will all the slaves come from? That's basically what they're saying. Who's gonna? My favorite line ever was, I guess it was Meghan McCain on The View in the first time Donald Trump was running, and she said, "Well, who's gonna clean your toilets, Donald Trump?" Like she thought that was a got ya, and everyone just sort of went, his little favorite clip ever, because that's exactly what they're all thinking. Like, well, I don't want to mow my own grass. That's not a white people job. That's for Mexicans. That's literally the mindset.
But here is a stupid thing, right? Is
Uh-huh.
guess what's gonna happen? In the beginning, yes, they're gonna charge you less, but once there is more and more of them, right?
Right.
And they start like dominating the country, guess what's gonna happen?
Well, I agree with you. But you have to understand the leftists' mindset don't even view that as a possibility. They see themselves as kind of another species. Malcolm X talked about this, which is why they never let Malcolm X. They never give him any airtime, and they focus only on Martin Luther King Jr. Because Malcolm X would say things like, "The white liberal is the most dangerous being on the planet" and stuff like that. They they're going to figure out some way in their minds to just perpetually keep the slave trade going. And maybe that's after the Mexicans get too uppity, they import Guatemalans. After the Guatemalans, there's always someone more that you can indenture a little harder. There's always someone lower down, and that's just an endless. We tried not having slavery in this country for a hot 2 months, and then we said we're doing sharecropping, which is pretty close. And then we said, okay, well now we need to put some Irish people in here to push them off the skyscrapers, and get some Italians in here, make them the sweatshops, and chain them to the desk. And it's just I don't know. America's the big problem I see coming forward is Europe, because they don't know how to be slave masters in Europe. That's sort of an American skill. They're importing all these people, and they don't know how to control them. The left in America is very, very good at controlling all their slaves. They can get them to dance and do whatever they want with just a little bit of media manipulation.
Yeah. The Europeans, it's more like the old school ways, the
Right.
domination and imperialism sort of and financial manipulation and old school psyops ways. But sorry, I guess this is one of those times when American superiority comes into play, isn't it?
Absolutely. The Americans have mastered the art of psychological warfare, and to the point where you can get people that you are literally bringing in to give them slave wages and make them work under a counter, under a grease trap, to think that you're the good person and you're the best person, and you want to kill all their babies. When they get too many of them, you want to put an abortion clinic there. And you can get them to think you're the best people in the world, and they'll
And
love you and vote for you. It's really quite amazing. You
and
gotta hand it to the leftists.
ironically, the country that our government tells us, at least when the Republicans are in charge, tells us is our biggest enemy and the most like absurd, oppositional, mindset you could possibly have is China, but they're doing exactly the same thing. And
Yeah.
over here, we're trying to figure out how to make sure they don't sunset us when it comes to robotics, nanotechnology, mRNA technology, and biotech stuff. So it's just, and of course surveillance and high tech stuff. So it's like they tell us, oh, that country's our biggest enemy, blah blah. Yet they're trying to figure out how to treat the people here in the West in the exact same way, but feed it to them in a manner where they'll come for it and say, "Yes, massa, may I have another?"
Hey, absolutely. China has not caught up. They may have caught up to us in AI and robotics. I think that's mostly fake, but they are so far behind on population manipulation. They're, like you said, they're still trying to do old school ways where you have goons in the street.
Right.
We're so good.
Weld people into their houses during a pandemic.
Yeah, no, we just convince everyone to self-police. It's fascinating. It's great, and I admire the leftists. They're doing a great job at keeping everyone in indebted and in servitude.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
And it looks like better and better by the day. And now that AI has been rolled out the way that it has, and everybody's like going, "Oh, wait a minute." Not even everybody. Let's just take like two groups of people. All of a sudden, teachers and doctors are looking at the AI situation and going, "Oh crap, may not have jobs in the next 5 to 10 years."
Right.
And everybody might be going, "Oh, haha, that's cool. That could be outsourced anyways," and maybe they have a point. But regardless, you've just taken a huge section of society, a vital section of society, and many of whom, like when the cutoff comes, will have spent inordinate amounts of money and time becoming a professional in that field, and all of a sudden they're going to be needing universal basic income to survive. And what are we all going to say about it? Are we going to say, "Oh, screw that young doctor who just finished his residency"? No, we're all going to be like, "Yeah, give that person some UBI. Where do I sign up?"
Yeah. Well, I realize this is childish, but even I still hold. I don't like teachers, just from being in elementary school. I don't like them. They were mean then. I think they're still mean now. That's probably me. I was probably a bad kid.
You're terrible.
That was probably a bad kid. The problem was probably me. But I still find the teacher has a lot of them. Like, you become a teacher because you want to dominate people that have no resistance. In a lot of cases,
It's like wanting to be a cop, but your life's not
it's
in
like
danger.
the girl version of wanting to be a cop. Yeah, that's what being a teacher is. It's the girl version of wanting to be a cop, and there are good cops and there are good teachers, but the ones that are bad are quite bad, and they want you to. So I will have trouble feeling sympathy for teachers, also because the teachers union has abused America for decades.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh well, we can't get fired because we're teachers." That somehow that. So I will have trouble sympathizing with them when they lose their jobs, but I will try.
That sickening hero complex that was laid on nurses and doctors when the pandemic was rolled out, like that's always been there for teachers. And it's like, all right, you good ones deserve it. Don't get me wrong. I come from a family of those, and I want to piss any good teachers off, but you got to admit, like, especially if you're a retired teacher at this point, like the ones that are out there now are doing cultural manipulation, whether they know it or not. And maybe that's just coming from their college professors and their media. But regardless, they're destroying the minds, or at least putting cracks in the minds of young people in ways that, we're never going to recover from.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And, the teachers, they want a lot. I guess my fundamental problem with teachers is they want a lot of praise for doing an objectively poor job. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, the teachers." It's like, well, the country's education kind of sucks. And whose fault is that? They're always like, it's someone else's fault. It's always someone else. Like, well, I don't know.
Well, it's one of those things where it's a self-inflicted wound in many cases, because they accept so much money from the government, and the same goes to the police. Police, teachers, don't get medical is a whole nother thing, because that's taking corporate money. But police and teachers, they're taking money from federal money, and all of that federal money comes with strings attached to it.
Yes.
And some of the things that are being delivered are cultural engineering in the case of the teachers, and militarism in the case of the police, and fusion, like taking away the autonomy of the elected sheriffs and making them part of a fusion machine with federal government forces, intelligence, all that kind of stuff. And those things are maybe important when it comes to large scale crimes, major crimes, but the way that they've been wielding it has not been that. It's corrupted. It's getting gross. It's getting political, and the influence comes from the top down and the center up, and everything at the bottom is disposable. So it makes for a huge problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mean to talk over everybody. I realized I came in here and just started attacking. I was just playing StarCraft.
Nice.
And so I'm amped up.
In real life, it sounds like you're playing StarCraft in real life.
No, I was playing it on the computer when I saw Hesher's text to come in, and so I'm amped up because I still play that game even though almost no one else does. I'm not very good at all because I haven't been playing for 20 years like the Koreans. But it's all about the fun of the moment.
Speaking of Koreans,
yeah,
I shared it with you, Hesher, so I know you got to see it. But I think Mystical Pharaoh, you might have seen it too. But so one of the conservative, one of the decent ones, anyways, not the completely sold out ones, pro Palantir ones, were saying something on X during the beginning parts of this, and they said, "Where are the Rooftop Koreans when you need them?" And one of them, because a handful of them have like. They have social media accounts, so one of them actually replied and was like, "You rang?" I thought that was an interesting thread going on with that conversation. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, so I'm so glad you sent this, Ruckus. I got such a kick out of this. This was right after last week's show, and Brianna Morello tweets out. She reposted the classic video of the guy on the motorbike with the Mexican flag. You can see it there on the screen if you're watching. She said, "Skip the National Guard. Bring in the Rooftop South Koreans." And then Tony Moon replies, who is at Roof Korean 7, and he says, "You called?" And she goes, "Get to work." And he says, "I am. No fires, no looting, just watching the ICE show and local leadership cave into this admin. Isn't that right, babe?" And then he tags Karen Bass, mayor of LA, and he has a picture of some Modelo's he's drinking there while watching it all go down. And then Data Republican comes in and says, "If your bio is for real, you are the coolest person on X." And then I float over his bio and it says, Tony Moon, American patriot, follower of Jesus, 1992 original gangster, Roof Korean, 2021 anti-vaxxer and Antifa hunter, 2021 J6 DC tourist. I'm on the 4S fly list with TSA. And Elon Musk even replied with a laughing face there. And Gunther Eagleman says, "You're late." And then Tony Moon replies and he says, "Haha, bro, dumbass Mecca Latinos that can't speak Spanish, we'll let the Chicanos handle them." And this thread just gets spicier and spicier throughout. And then finally, for someone, for those that don't know, someone asked Grok and they said, "Who are the Rooftop Koreans?" And then some of these images came back from the 1992 or 3, I can't remember, I think it was 92, Rodney King riots. These guys, South Koreans living in LA, they were protecting their businesses from looters. You can see that looks like, what is that, an FAL probably? That's probably him right there up on the rooftops in 1993, doing the American thing and protecting their property from lawless looters. So Grok tells the whole story in there, and the comments are pure hilarity. Pretty much infinite hilarity as X users respond to seeing this while this is all going on.
Who has a workshop in the background? It's got to be Santa.
Probably.
I love how America can take anyone from anywhere, bring them into this country and in short order teach them how to be a psychopath. I mean, his resume there was like very impressive. January 6er, like he's just done all the things in short order, you know.
All the way back to 92, bro.
All the way back to 92.
And he loves Jesus.
And he loves Jesus, and he loves shooting people. America.
Yeah, man. It's like a Tom Petty song, isn't it?
It is. We should write a song called My Rooftop Koreans.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Sumo. It appears that 5 different AI programs have already written 23 variations of said program, and one of them is already #1 on Amazon. Crazy.
Is it? That's fun.
Yeah, RTK, Rooftop Koreans. So the Rooftop Koreans have an opinion. I don't know, man. Mystical Pharaoh, did you see that thread? Did you read through that thread? What'd you think, man?
I did. I mean, I read through a bunch of threads like that on X sometime. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. Had a great laugh. I actually added that as a supplemental to last week's show notes. If you missed last week's show, by the way, it happened on Saturday night. We got together, and it was Bay's last show for a couple weeks. So you can go check that out. It's up there at alternatecurrentradio.com. If you're just joining us, you're watching the Boiler Room or listening to the Boiler Room after the fact, perhaps. We're streaming live on X, Rumble, and YouTube tonight.
Sumo, okay, guys,
yeah.
you thought I was kidding. I just asked Grok to write the lyrics for a song about the Rooftop Koreans.
Right on.
So I'll just share the first verse. In the heart of LA, when the fires did blaze, 92 brought the chaos, tore through peaceful days. Streets turned to battlegrounds, smoke in the air, but up in the rooftops, they stood with a stare. Korean shopkeepers, families side by side, built their dreams in the city with gift and with pride. When the world fell apart and the law turned away, they climbed to the rooftops to fight for their stay. The chorus is Rooftop Koreans holding the line, guarding their homes under city skyline. With courage like steel and hearts full of fire, they stood for their own, never backing, never tired. Rooftop Koreans, legends in time, defending their future, no reason or rhyme. Through the smoke and the flames, their stories alive. Rooftop Koreans, forever they thrive.
Oh, no.
And it did that in like a millisecond. Is that crazy or what? And there are programs out there that will actually do the whole music and everything. You want a rock song, you want a country song, maybe a rap one. Yeah, this AI shit is getting crazy.
I would prefer it if it had more like a line that was like, we taught Asians to shoot at black people, America. You know, it's something a little more explicit about.
Well, there you have to do the uncensored mode for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not even saying use slurs. Just I just want to focus on how America teaches people to shoot at minorities.
Or the poor.
It's like the remember Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle?
Oh, yeah.
And like they were there for like a week, and the first thing they did was shoot a black teenager.
Right.
It's like the first thing they did.
Yeah, and then
in the water in America, everyone has to do it. I don't understand.
And then stop the ambulance from coming to get him.
Yeah,
also.
Yeah. It's America.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Everything America does ends in that, and I don't know why.
Yeah, dude. All right, Infidel, Mystical Pharaoh, you have a good question here. And your question was, why are robots dancing on America's Got Talent? I don't know, dude. You just cued me in. I didn't know this was happening.
No, yeah. If you click on that, you'll see it.
Yeah. Let's okay. So at AGT posted this one.
Dynamic.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull the volume super down just in case there, because that's copyrighted music probably, and we don't want to mess with that. But there you go. AGT. Who is the talent here? I guess it's Hyundai and Boston Dynamics.
Like what level of propaganda are we going into right now? What is this?
I guess this is it. You just brought it to us. These are the same robots that can be weaponized against people. Um, being used as clowns, being used as dancing monkeys with a cup on America's Got Talent.
In 2 years, one of those will shoot a black teenager.
Yeah, it probably
Guaranteed.
already has in like Vietnam or something like that.
Guaranteed. The one of those things. This is it's a way America. I told you, liberals are great at this. They've invented a way to shoot black teenagers where they're not going to be culpable. Well, the robot did it. I don't know. It was the programming.
Talk about plausible deniability, right?
Yeah, they're masters at this. I'm telling you.
Look at those morons like clapping and like
Right?
impressed.
Yeah.
Dude, the good news is that those people, yeah, right there, that guy, they're all going to be replaced by the robots. So whatever.
Oh man.
It's a weird form factor. It's like a dog with like a giraffe neck.
Yeah, what is
It
that?
is very weird looking.
It looks like something out of The Thing. Just saying.
It
Yeah.
does.
It does. It's like The Thing meets Alien meets Terminator.
It's your friend.
Are you guys gonna get a robot when they have them for sale to do like housework?
They're
So
only
actually, so here is the thing. I am trying to find people to do work, like actually like farming, and I cannot find any of those illegals that Trump is talking about and everybody's talking about.
they
Where are you
deported them
looking?
all, bro.
So
Because
let me know where can I find those?
Have you checked?
Because if
Home
not, I'm
Depot?
gonna go get me a
Home
Tesla
Depot,
robot.
yeah.
You might get arrested at Home Depot for trying to pick up some work for your local whatever.
Well, they are in farming industry. He said it's okay to be in farming industry.
So how do you prove that when you're here illegally? Do you like go and get like a, I'm here illegally but I'm farming card? Or I mean,
You need to have a hoe in your hand.
you need a hoe?
Infidel, you got to be careful, man. I'm afraid you might get deported on accident. Not send you to Mexico.
Yeah, well,
Like, what happened to
I
Infidel? He
wouldn't
got
be
sent to Mexico.
surprised.
He's not. I don't know.
I'm be surprised. They sent me to Mexico. I'm like, I'm not from freaking Mexico.
Dude, you'd have a blast in Mexico.
Well, it depends where they put me.
Yeah,
Or they send me to El Salvador, El Salvador.
Yeah, they drop you off right out in front of that crazy prison.
Yeah. But
I just saw they called me and said I want a vacation to some place called Guantanamo. Is that an island?
It's in the Caribbean, right?
Do I need to pack a bathing
they
suit?
were like, yeah, that's where your ancestor went back in the days.
Will there be water involved?
Yes, sir. Lots of it. Lots. So much you'll need a towel.
Cool.
So, getting back to this whole LA riot thing, the other thing about this is just kind of like, are we trying to create more division in the country? It really sure looks that way. I mean, sort of like when I zoom out, it's like I see Elon and Trump trying to create division in the conservative / MAGA crowd / common sense crowd that's not really paying attention. And then I see this like federal version of it, right? Where we're just like trying to create extra polarization and division and dialectical overlay for the right and the left. And it's like the problem that they created is very real. And the frustration that leads to people cheerleading for the solution is very real. But the solution is deploy Palantir, arrest them, right? And it's like
problem, reaction, solution, brother.
Like what happens next time Gavin Newsom is president or some crazy leftist is president? Like, is it going to be the same thing? The leftists will be like, deploy Palantir against the states' rights people or the land rights people or those crazy Hawaiians that want their land rights back in Lahaina or I mean, don't people see that we're guys? Talk me off the ledge here. It feels to me like we are at the point of like converging converging conspiracies, if you'll forgive the term, converging um, trajectories of authoritarianism, where eventually it's going to just get so nuts that it's the line is going to be, don't defy the government or they might come for you.
Yeah.
I can't talk you off the ledge.
All right,
Sorry.
no one's talking me off that ledge. So
Well, I mean, it's true. So I mean, I don't think it's.
like
That's why
the
nobody's gonna
narrative
speak
is
about it.
so important. Like the narrative is so freaking important right now that one side has to say, go get them, deploy Palantir, and the other side says, F you, we're going to burn everything down and loot everything. And then you've got these, this whole pastiche, this whole vignette of like Karen Bass is stopping the LAPD from reacting, and Donald Trump is sending the Marine Corps in, and it's just like, what the actual fuck is going on here? Like the
They're going to
LAPD,
arrest Gavin Newsom.
yeah, they're gonna come in, they're gonna arrest Gavin Newsom, they're gonna charge Karen Bass, all this like absurd stuff.
It's stupid.
Let the fucking state have the state's rights. Let them do whatever they want. If they want to be Little Mexico or say they're a sanctuary city, fine, go for it. Do it. Do it, you guys. Enjoy. Let us know how it works out. We're kind of keeping an eye on the crime statistics and the cultural changes and the zoning and all your little fights that you're having out there between different various Los Angeles city council people, all of whom are Democrats, by the way, yet many of whom seem to be going into little racial cliques and trying to figure out how to rezone areas to, bolster their particular racial preference category, like behaving as sick and racist as they claim that people on the right behave. Never mind all that going on there. It's just a total freaking shit show. So let them have it. Go for it. Don't waste your time. If you're going to send ICE into California, have them go there and bust hardcore human traffickers, hardcore child pornographers, people that are here illegally who have committed homicides and violent felonies, people that are gang associated. Keep doing what you're doing with the prioritized level instead of this. I don't know. It just seems to make sense to me. You could easily do this quietly, and the LAPD is like 30% Asian and like 30% black, and I don't even know what percentage white, and they know the town. The LAPD is perfectly fucking capable of cordoning off a area and expanding a perimeter, and stopping this kind of stuff from happening. So it is being allowed to happen, and it's ridiculous, and most people see that it's being allowed. I hope a lot of people are seeing it, at least.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to the point we were saying in the beginning, right? If it won't, if this need to happen, right, number one, it should have been coordination with the states. Start with red states. It's different, when it comes to immigration, because like you can't really control the movement of people from state to state, right? Illegals. So yes, they will be in California, but what if they go to Tennessee or Georgia, right? But then in this case, you just build like some massive operation in Georgia and Tennessee to make their life hell, right? And then after that, you just start like blocking their subsidies, right? From federal government, prevent them from making money, right? Like start tightening all that. But he didn't do this. This is why it is complete failure on him. Instead, he goes and talk big talk, does a fuss, right? To make a show, like it's a reality TV, and then chaos start happening because of the bad actions and incompetence. And they're like, oh, you know what? No, I think farmers and hotel people need slaves, so let's keep them in or give them amnesty. 'Cause we just don't want to hurt farming. It's just complete bullshit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're right. Like if they were serious about like, okay, we want to get the legals out of here. The the first thing you would do is just crack down on anyone employing them, and then they'll self-deport if they can't get jobs. Like that would be the first. You don't have to round people up. Just like you don't have papers and you're hiring people, that's you get fined or you get jail time for
That's
doing
how it worked in the 80s too, right? The 80s and early 90s, the ICE went after employers, and employers were the ones mainly profiting on that.
Yeah, it's so crazy to try and like have this idea we're gonna go catch it. Like there's so many people. That's such a huge job. You gotta find them all, verify their like that's you just cut and then second you would cut down on remittances to Mexico and you would like tax that or whatever. If you're doing remittances to Mexico, you get taxed heavily or something. And then the problem sorts itself out. They just go back home because there's no the incentives are gone.
Well, and he tried to do that, and did you see what the Mexicans said? Like, maybe
Oh
we can
yeah,
pull
we're
this
gonna
up.
Mexican. Yeah, you can't. I mean, Mexicans love talking. There's nothing. If you ever been around, they talk a big game. But yeah, and then but here's the bigger question: if we didn't have slaves, what would happen? This is the thing. If we didn't have underpaid slave labor, people you can pay under the table and don't have to give health insurance to, they can't go to OSHA, all that. How would things work? Are Americans going to do the job? And you're like, well, if they paid more, but then you'd have to pay more. That's the thing. Americans
but
don't
here's
want
the
to pay
thing,
more
man.
money for vegetables.
But here's the thing that what this is what's stupid, right? And when I said in the beginning they're gonna just we're shooting ourselves in the foot, is you're already paying more because your money is worthless because of the amount of spending they did, right?
Oh yeah,
On all that. So now you're already paying 3 times for groceries, right? Or 2 times since COVID started. I would say 2 times, right?
yeah,
And
for sure.
that's not gonna go down. That's not the inflation is gonna go down.
Well,
So
I don't think there's anything we can do to stop that. You know, I think once we got off the gold standard, the devaluation of the currency was just sort of baked into the pie. And it's going to keep going until some desired endpoint.
yeah. So
But
then
like,
what is the end game? So what is our game as a nation, right?
right.
In 5 years or 10 years, let's say 5 years, right? When we keep importing this cheap labor, right? We have AI coming, we have robots dancing on America Got Talent, right? So
Right.
so basically people are being replaced by third world country slaves and robots and AI.
Correct. Well,
They are
I think
breathing
that
3 times as high as you.
I think the direction it
UBI.
gets to is that it gets to basically where all societies get to eventually, where you have an aristocratic class and everyone else is like a serf.
But what is the aristocratic class? Like, how big is that?
Oh, it's
Like,
not very big. It's not very big. It's mostly left-wing donors and people in like very blue cities.
1%. So we're just gonna take the top 1 or 5%, and then everybody else
Yeah,
is just gonna vanish.
well, they're not going to vanish. They're just going to like live in tenement houses and be sad.
I think the hope that quote unquote they have is that the UBI will be just enough to pay for your Coom Pod, your internet fees, your McDonald's, your Netflix, streaming services, your Pornhub account, and your DoorDash account, and that will be enough to keep most people in the Idiocracy, right? Like think about like Dax Riggs's character in Idiocracy. He's just home sitting in a recliner that has a toilet seat under it, and he can masturbate on it and take shits on it and watch Ow My Balls all day and collect universal basic income. And like the defense for people that see this coming is to be ready to have side hustles, ready to be profiting off of AI in some way, shape, or form, having some sort of passive income. Like those will be your middle class, like people that get the UBI and also exist in the modern 21st century ecosystem of content, and everybody else will just be home in their little Coom Pod baiting to their Pornhub account that gets paid with their UBI.
Exactly. The future is content creation. Get your kids, don't get them in college necessarily, or whether they're have them run a YouTube channel or a TikTok stream or something, because the only thing that we're going to produce is content for people to watch while they are starving and don't have anything to do. That's the future.
Yep.
There's one problem with that, Sumo.
What is it?
AI is now doing that too.
That's right.
Well, that's true. That is a wrench in the plan. It's especially bad for women because you can make, like, let's be honest, ladies, a lot of your content wasn't very intellectual, and the AI can reproduce pictures of hot girls pretty. That's like the best thing it's best at, strangely.
Yeah.
It's like they really, so all that OnlyFans money and sort of stuff, that's going to be hit hard. Yeah, you got to be, well, I think the things you can do is exist in the space where AI can't, which is AI has difficulty making racist jokes and being anti-Semitic. And so everyone needs to pursue a career in anti-Semitic content creation if you want to bulletproof yourself for the future.
This explains what Ye was doing.
Ye is forging the future right now. We're
That's
watching.
right.
Everyone's going to be doing what Ye was doing in 10 years.
You need to go to
What else will there be to have money?
Fringe content creation that AI is not going to create. Right?
Yeah. You have to be a black man singing Hail Hitler with a bunch of other nude people, in sort of a homoerotic way. AI is not going to do that.
Well, you can coach it. You got to kind of massage it a little bit. Do some iterations.
Every time I have tried to get ChatGTP to make a homoerotic black Nazi, it said I won't do that. So,
well, you got to pay for the
uncensored
upgrade.
mode.
You got to pay more.
You got to pay more.
So, I liked this one. Let me share this with you guys. This is the AI of the week right here this week.
Live from the Cedar Grove flood disaster. Just kidding. I'm not real. This is Dana Brooks reporting live from Ocean View Beach.
Big UFO.
Just kidding. I'm not real. This is Charlotte Reed reporting live from Clearwater Beach, where an unidentified... Just kidding. I'm not real. Angela Carter here, live from the Cedar Grove flood disaster. Just kidding.
I like the caption, grandparents that trust the news are about to be in trouble.
Yeah.
I love that personally. Like the so dystopian thing of a lady going, I'm not real to you.
Yeah.
Fans away. That's so great. That's like better than any dystopian novel ever written.
Yeah.
Sumo, you saw the VO, the Google VO demos, all those videos?
I don't know if I did.
The ones where they're all like, so it was showing off the power of this new, you can create like cinematic Hollywood style scenes just as good as that report there, except like in movies. And now the people were talking to the camera like, please stop prompting, like they were talking to the person who was making the prompts. Very creepy shit.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's going to be, we're going to have maybe, here's the thing. Maybe get into the business of like AI doomsday cults. You worship an AI, maybe have a lot of sex with your followers. I'm
now
sure you could turn it into a business in some way.
Right? I thought that was all of us on the internet.
How long would it take before the first AI religion comes out?
Oh, it's got to
surely it's
here.
already happened, right? Surely it's
gotta be here.
Done.
The AI God.
Surely someone is already worshiping it somewhere, right? That's got to happen, but they just don't have a lot of followers at the moment.
Oh, it must be. I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
We could start it here.
We might as well. I mean, if we don't, someone else will first.
If we don't, someone else will. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, especially if there's money to be made. So here's Will Smith. This is all done on Google Veo 3 that Ruckus was talking about there. Sumo. There's Will Smith. Yeah. We've got a dog dressed as a female flamenco dancer dancing flamenco. There you go. Golden Retriever. We've got soldier riding a dog during World War II. That's pretty boss. We got Super cute young woman, blonde hair, Mad Max scenario, cinematic, beautiful lips, showing her tongue, sensual look. There it is. Yeah. What else? Cyberpunk film, woman in futuristic room. Woman is on the bed, flying cars outside the window, Blade Runner, blonde hair, cinematic, sensual. This
How
is
come
my
they're all
favorite.
like sensual at the end?
I know. Why can't we just be cool like this? A
Cinematic,
dragon,
Godzilla, dragon, sensual.
right? This dragon's just simply sitting on the roof of the 7-Eleven, just like Jay and Silent Bob. It just goes on and on and
Dog,
on.
$5, little man. Put that shit in my hand.
That's right. None of
I don't
this.
know, man. We're headed to a strange world.
Yeah.
It's gonna get so weird so quickly.
No, it really is.
It's going to be to the where like we don't know what's real and who's not. So you're going to have to be able to prove that you're human. So that's the next big wave. That's
Why
a
do you
big
think
deal.
I've never met you guys in person?
Because we're not real. I mean, because you're not. Wait a minute. Did I say that?
I've been an AI this whole time.
You're pretty much the only suspect. You're one of the only ones we haven't met in person. So you are suspect number one.
That's a good point.
So, guys, I just learned this week about new thing I didn't know before, Operation Snow White.
Oh, what is that?
I don't like it already.
It was basically massive. It was the biggest espionage that happened on the American government, and it was in the 70s and was done by the Church of Scientology.
Oh, nice.
Where they actually infiltrated the US government, like all agencies, to steal all documents, records, that anything that's basically about Scientology and Ron Hubbard. And so they went in, they disguised as Asians, they wiretaped officials, and I guess after 7 years, the FBI got arrested them and they raided, and they got like 48,000 documents. It's pretty crazy. I did not know about that until this week.
Wow.
The more you know.
Right?
I know, right?
Well, there's I think a lot of us often refer back to this quote by William Casey, the 13th CIA director. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. So there's been some ongoing question about whether that quote could literally be attributed to William Casey. And on this particular website at the WashingtonStandard.com, they say someone who claims to have been there when Casey said it showed up to validate the quote. Said Barbara Honegger said, quote, "I am the source for this quote, which was indeed said by CIA Director William Casey at an early February 1981 meeting of the newly elected President Reagan with his new cabinet secretaries to report to him on what they had learned about their agencies in the first couple weeks of the administration. The meeting was in the Roosevelt Room in the West Wing of the White House, not far from the cabinet room. I was present at the meeting as assistant to the chief of domestic policy advisor to the president. Casey first told Reagan that he had been astonished to discover that over 80% of the intelligence that the analysis side of the CIA produced was based on open public sources like newspapers and magazines. Think Palantir. As he did to all the other secretaries of their departments and agencies, Reagan asked what he saw as his goal as director for the CIA, to which he replied with this quote, which I recorded in my notes of the meeting as he said it. Shortly thereafter, I told senior White House correspondent Sarah McClendon, who was a close friend and colleague, who in turn made it public. So for anyone who says it's a fake quote, there you go. That's the one and only argument to that I've seen, but it looks, if everything's above board, Pretty interesting. But I mean, the whole like being able to create video like that, just anyone create video with text to video, really makes you wonder about some of the video products that we've been being shown over the last 15 to 20 years.
Oh yeah, they've had this longer than we've had it, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
For sure. I think most things that we've seen on TV are not true. I've been saying that on my show for years.
yeah.
I think almost everything that people have seen is made up in some way or another.
Narrative is the king, and anything all you have to do is create media around a narrative to make it king. This
Yeah.
is the oldest trick in the book. We've been doing this since the invention of the radio.
Does this explain why every time we saw Bill Gates during 2020, he was wearing the same purple sweatshirt?
Yeah, or why Biden was varying in heights all the time, or why he was. I mean, like none of it. I think Trump has been up there. There's been fake Trumps for sure.
Or why the
Trumps
Pope
are
would
not the same
disappear.
guy.
Remember the disappearing Pope?
Yeah, the disappearing Pope. I was like, the Pope. You know, I remember saying that on my show when people were calling me crazy. I was like, I saw the Pope disappear, so I don't believe anything.
Yep, we saw that shit. We saw
You know?
that shit. It's on video before all this AI stuff was pedestrian.
Right, for sure. And so maybe the Pope, maybe the Pope had been dead for years beforehand. The actual Pope. Maybe there's not a Pope now. Maybe Pope Leo is a complete artificial construction. Who knows?
Right?
He died of kidney failure. Oh wait, sorry, that wasn't the Pope.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people should believe anything they see on the screen except for whatever comes on my show, which is always you can trust.
All right.
I would just remind everybody to do their own research. Don't believe anything. Don't trust anything until you prove it for yourself with your own research. How about that? Yeah.
And don't prove it with ChatGPT or AI or Grok.
Oh yeah. You really.
All the issues.
Really
How are you going to
gotta
prove it?
double-check.
That's why. That's why. Here is the point. My advice is just eliminate the noise. If
Amen.
it's something that's confusing you and you're not sure if it's true or not, then it doesn't matter. Just focus on what's important in your life, what you can physically see and touch in your hand. Fuck everything else.
It's a blessing, man. Like, we need mysteries in life, and we need to accept that some things that we're presented with will need to be left as a mystery, and we can wargame it and Occam Razor it for fun and for lulls. But like when it comes right down to it, if you can't have some sort of tangible journalistic reason, we have to leave it as a mystery. And I'm sorry to say that, Charlie Browns.
For sure, man.
We're lucky to have so many cool mysteries.
There is no world beyond your immediate experience.
Yep.
Technically true, right?
Right. Yeah. It's sort of you will be forced to become some sort of like esoteric mystic to stay sane.
Yes.
In the future.
Well, why did you think I turned into a mystical pharaoh?
I know. You look beautiful, by the way.
Thanks. I've been working out and taking.
You've been working out. How big are your guns in real life? Are they about that big?
Pretty much.
They're okay. Not bad.
Yeah. I can sort of tell. You sound like a very muscular, like Arab. There's like the Arab voice that's like
you don't want to fuck with me in real life.
You wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley dressed in your Bill Gates costume. I'll put it that way.
Not fuck with me in real life.
He could probably rip half a phone book a little bit.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty dope.
It's pretty dope.
But to the point we were just saying though, it's a great point you guys were just saying. I think we're losing that sense of wonder and actually mystery in life with how everything, just all this information, and I think that's actually impacting our psyche.
Yeah.
And I think I actually do miss that sometimes. That's why I actually started disconnecting more from online presence on some of those social media platforms.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we get it back, but it's sad to think about our kids and those newer generations. It's more they are born into that world, and actually their parents are anchoring them more by getting them more into this, electronic world, instead of actually trying to ground them into real life being raised up. And at least that's what I'm trying to do with my kid, right? But there is a lot of people around that I see that just letting their kid just getting sucked in that electronic world, right? Where actually nothing is going to be real very soon. Well, it's already now, nothing is real, right?
Yeah. It's like it's almost like all right now, like where we're at, all roads lead to like extreme black pilling or extreme indulgence in some sub corner of the interwebs, and it's like and either of those are the goal for those, out there that want to engineer culture, engineer the population into a place where they're not well, they're not healthy, they're not mentally healthy, they're not physically healthy, they're not spiritually healthy, they're not intelligent. So you've got the cul-de-sacs of, online pornography, the cul-de-sacs of online gaming, the cul-de-sacs of online streaming, all these places where we can just disconnect and, we all find ourselves. But they're just there 24/7. They're in our pocket 24/7. And then you've like if you're into what's going on, you're eventually going to end up in the extreme black pill category where it's just like, okay, this is now so dark that it is damaging my mental and spiritual health if I keep taking it on, and then it's just like disassociation. So there's just like these funnels, into cul-de-sacs and like chutes and ladders out of the intellectual game altogether. And that's one of the most depressing things I think about having been in sort of this, news and current events and culture analysis circle that we've been in for these years. And you see it in the audience a lot. You meet people, they come in, as viewers and listeners, and, it's just like year after year we're going through this, and it's just like, yeah, hello guys, we've got some big propaganda to break down today. Yet again, you've been lied to. Everything is fake. Everything is unreal. It's very difficult. It's very murky, but from what we're able to tell, it looks like we're being lied to big time about everything on the planet. So have a great day. We'll see you next week. And it just like it takes a toll and a toll. And people eventually are like, you know what? I'm gonna go live off grid. Fuck all this.
Which is okay. Just start building from communities. That's what we need. Because when shit hit the fan, you need to be closer to the people closest to you in real life. But
yeah, that seems to be working to various degrees, and from various degrees of like high success to extreme failure for a lot of people too. A lot of people that I've talked to put a lot of energy into that, and then discover that the communities that they've attached themselves to, they don't actually align with, or don't feel like they are aligned with, like they've been ostracized from it for whatever groupthink reason. So it just sucks, man. I mean, shouts out to everybody who's been successful with that. I know there have been some pretty organized attempts at that, and some have been very successful. I've seen some, strong communities grow in certain places. We're working on that here in Central Texas. We got Ruckus here. We got Grunt here. We got pretty good circle of social rejects here. But
well, I'm dipping my toes in both. So we got that, but then I'm also doing what Santa or Sumo was talking about there. With there's got to be a way to be one of the, at least part of the middle class, and not be part of the Coom Pod class. You know what I mean? By embracing some of this stuff and creating content and knowing how to interact with the AI and to use the programs and do the things. So I don't know. We'll see though.
I mean, I think there's going to be a huge cutoff between, like, say, from post-COVID or anyone that owned a house before COVID is going to be in a much better position than anyone trying to do that after. I think that's going to be a huge dividing line.
Yeah.
Because no one can afford a house now.
Anyone want to give me a house real quick? Yeah, before it's
Well,
too
I mean,
late.
I can tell you like where I am, right? Like housing after COVID, it's almost doubled.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it's great if you have a house. My house went up like so much money.
Yeah, it's just
Not that I'm
crazy.
going to sell it, but it's nice to look at the number on Zillow.
Well, it just, I mean, I'm talking to the point of like, if you look at wages, right, and income post COVID,
Yeah.
and compare that with prices of houses post COVID, prices of groceries post COVID, there, you know, there is no relation whatsoever, right? It's
Right.
wages are still pretty much the same. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about like 3% like adjusted inflation or 10% max, and then there is no way that that will like accommodate for the increasing in housing and you know, life expenses. But to the point, so what's happening is they are trying to push everybody for rental, right? Because that's back to the point we were saying, they don't want home ownership, right? They don't want you to own anything, they want you to rent. But even rent now is so fucking expensive that people cannot afford freaking rent anymore. It's crazy. Rent prices like even went more than the freaking housing prices. It's just crazy.
And the homeowners make less and less money on that rent each month too. Like it's so many homeowners that were renting properties got absolutely hosed by the scamdemic, and it's just created this like cascading mess.
Yeah, it's just really like it's all remember when we said that that pandemic was the biggest wealth transfer, and it was, right? That was wealth transfer of like stealing everybody's money, taking our money and giving it to those mega corporations.
Yeah.
This
And those
AI thing is going to make
millions.
that look like child's play, bro.
The what?
The AI stuff, the Project Stargate, is going to make everything else look like nothing.
Yeah, it was just sort of clearing the way for it, man. This is going to be absolutely bananas.
Yeah, you'll own nothing and be happy. They told us that years ago, and they're going to follow through on that.
Yep.
And there's not really
It's like-
anything that most people can do about it.
Like
But
the
we really can
the
stop it. We
subscription-
really can stop it. Sorry. Go ahead, Rokas. Sorry, I did not mean to cut you off, man.
Well, no, it's just that because I've been getting pissed off about like everything seems to have switched to the SaaS model, and it's like that is so beyond annoying at this point. Like you have zero options anymore for like anything. You got to pay for a monthly fee for everything. It's so stupid.
Is
Software
even
as
still
a
CD
service.
like music CDs anymore? Like, can you actually own like physical copy of like music, or it's all
Oh,
digital
dude,
now?
that's sort of a that's like a hobbyist market now. That's sort of like, you
Get
know,
out of
for
here,
the
Grandpa.
yeah, grandpa with your 5-minute long songs. Don't you know kids want 30-second long songs? I mean, geez. No, dude, like if you're into vinyl or CD or even audio cassettes have made almost a, you know, an interesting comeback. It's a niche market now for oldsters, for old people
Yeah,
like
I need
us.
to start getting some DVDs again when shit happens.
I just got a vinyl LP in the mail the other day. I ordered it from Europe like the old days, and it
Nice.
was rad. It was so cool to get a piece of wax from over the seas, you know, and wait a long time for it. And I miss that, man. I got this sweet, like it was packaged all beautifully, remastered, 180-gram, you know, vinyl, and it's got the records like outside the sleeve, and it's just beautiful, man. And young people, they don't get that. They just, you know, they Spotify. I Spotify too. It's super convenient. It's kind of awesome. It's the best algorithm of all these things over all these years. Spotify and Tidal kind of at the top of that, but nothing beats. Yeah, Timmer knows what's up in the Discord. Nothing beats as close to an analog setup as you can make, or even a CD setup you can make. And it's discography.com, or I forget the name of the site, but I mean, there's a booming market, like secondhand market for CDs, Pharaoh. That's really neat. You know, if you're into diving into a rabbit hole like that.
Question, Hasher, what does your album sound like? Did it sound good when you popped it into your record player?
Oh, I don't own one yet. I'm
okay.
simply hoarding
Lyric prayer.
vinyl so that one of these days when I get a new record player, I can actually listen to it in that format. Like I'd probably buy like 2 pieces of vinyl a year, and I keep them all. They're all behind my green screen. You'd probably be able to see them if I pulled the green screen up, but it's a modest little vinyl collection. And one of these days, I'm gonna get me a turntable to go with it. But for now, I just look at them. And I can listen to them on my Spotify. So it's a weird place to be in because I'm someone who's always been a proponent of having a local music library, not
Except
something in a
where we're
cloud.
headed is not going to be where they're like wondering what CDs were and what it was like to have an audio cassette or a vinyl. No, they're not even going to know what do you mean? What's an MP3 file? What's
Yeah,
that?
you won't need any of that. You'll just be asking the AI to play this and play that, or find me something similar to this, or
File? What's a file?
file. File. I was helping my mom last night. It's actually my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, mom! I don't know if you're out there watching, but happy birthday, mom. But I was helping her organize her files on her computer, and like she had switched from a PC to a Mac a while back, and never really got the 101 lesson on the Finder on the Mac, and it was just like, wow, we're this is like something I shouldn't. It's almost like a waste of time to have to teach you this at this point, because pretty soon you're not going to be using mouses and keyboards to do this stuff. But here we go. Here's how you make a new file. Here's how you put put a folder and a file in a folder and But that's all going to go away. It's going away right now. Like there are teachers. I have a video somewhere squirreled away in my bookmarks of a teacher giving her last hurrah, saying, "I'm out of here. This is ridiculous. Most of these kids are graduating and can't read. They're all using GPT or Copilot to do all their homework. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody knows how to read or write. And I'm not going to sit here and just keep doing this job and pretend that I'm teaching people."
Wow.
It's
rolled it
all
back.
going to work out fine.
Yeah.
By 2090, this is all going to be sorted. We'll figure it out. It's going to take some time,
And it's gonna be a
and
brave
probably
new
some
world, right?
wars
In
and
one
some
way or
collapses
another.
and so forth and so on. But life will go on.
So back to the point I was trying to make before I cut Ruckus off.
Sorry.
No. I truly believe that there is, just so that we're not just blackpilling, and I truly believe that from my heart, is there is a way out of this. But everybody have to make the conscious decision that they want to get out of this, right? And as we said in the beginning, and Somo said, it's not going to be easy. So, but if you select the easy route, if you go to that consumer, like pure self-satisfaction, right, like instant gratification route that they want to push you in, you will never get out of that rut, right? So I think truly, if everybody decided to get out of that, or at least the majority, then there is a way out of it. The question is, are we going to embrace it?
And the question,
yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I don't think most people will, but I think on a small scale you can get out. I'm convinced 97% of everyone will just go with the flow into whatever funnel they're being funneled into. But yeah, I think the 3% of us that are trying can definitely have a good life and get out of all that.
yeah, I agree. It's like, who is we? How many of us is we when we make that comment? Like, because I think it's a bigger number. It's always a bigger number than it was the year before, and that's always encouraging. But my concern is that it's always somewhere in the sad estimation that Santa Claus just made there at 3%. But maybe it's 5% this year. I don't know.
Well, how many of what is the percentage we need for humanity to survive?
Like 13.
Stand up against tyranny.
Shut up, Ruckus. It's not 33. 13. I'm gonna go with 13, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Like, isn't there a constitutional number? Like, how many people that were actually willing to take action? Like, it had to be like, I mean, I guess they say 3%. You know, that's sort of the origin of the 3%er, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Because it's like
Not 33.
Well, you look at the actual number of persons in the military and persons in the police, right? And nationwide. And 3% of the entire national public is actually more than, the addition of all those law enforcement and military people. So it does make sense in that sense, but like that's in a force on force, like if all things were equal sort of situation, and not a world where you've got like space-based weapons and extreme psychological 2000 years of psychological operations and propaganda honed to an insane skill and focused through technology at the population. So that really says a lot. And I'd say look at the COVID response for a great example. But I don't mean to be black pill, dude. I don't really mean to be super black pill, but I've been black pilled.
Well, I mean, we all are, right? I'm just saying, it's just blackpilling can lead to you be
Hopeless.
hopeless, or it can lead you to be determined, right? And I
Right.
choose the latter, and that's what I always been in my life. So
Yeah. So can we? And we have to, but maybe it's a big ask. But can we transcend the black pill? That's the hardest part. I
that's
think
right.
a
That's
lot
right.
of us are bumped up against the membrane of the black pill wall, and we can feel it, pulsating, and like maybe we could rip through it and find a way on the other side. And maybe some people have, and we're trying to catch up, or maybe we're stuck. I don't know, man. But I know what you're saying, and I don't like to be a fatalist about it either. I like to think that's the whole reason we got into this was, hoping that we could keep each other woke, woke version, and wake other people up along the way. And now everybody, now we're in William Casey land here, where it's like we don't even know what's real anymore. There's been a disinformation program, and it's going to be complete when everything we believe is false. So rings
Speak for
true these
yourself, man.
days.
I came here for the fucking black pills. I don't know about you guys.
There is a glory in the black pill.
Which reminds me, the good news is none of this could technically matter if, poof, World War III and Armageddon and all, yeah, because there's always that. So, whatever, live your
Well,
life, have a good time.
true that, man. I mean, we got this going on this day.
Oh, shit, look at that.
Israel strikes Iran. Israeli Defense Minister Katz announced on Friday, I guess that would be today. It's still Thursday here, but I guess it's Friday over there, that the Israeli Air Force has conducted a preemptive strike on Iran. Iranian media reported explosions in Tehran as well as missile interceptions. An emergency situation has been declared across Israel. Quote, following the state of Israel's preemptive strike against Iran, a missile and drone attack against the state of Israel and its civilian population is expected in the immediate future, end quote, by Katz there. The attack comes after weeks of simmering tensions following the collapse of renewed negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. Multiple news outlets reported last month that Israel had discussed potential strikes on Iran. So-called nuclear sites with the United States. U.S. President Donald Trump recently accused Tehran of slow walking the negotiations and reiterated that his objective is the complete dismantlement of their nuclear program. So we got stuff popping off, you guys. We've been wondering if this was going to pop off, and this isn't the first sign of it. We've already had some back and forth between these two countries, but here we go. Santa Claus, did your reindeer and radar station let you know that this was happening in the skies, that you may or may not be traversing in your sleigh?
They did. I'm gonna go with the not happening. Nothing ever happens thing. I think this will be a big nothing. Mostly, I think they'll shoot it back and forth, and they'll stop for a
Kind of
minute.
like
I think
last time, a few months
yeah,
ago.
I think that's just Middle Easterners. Mystical Pharaoh knows this. They love to save face. They shoot each other, and then I shoot you, and then then we stop and go eat couscous or whatever. And I think it'll be a big nothing. You guys were talking. I am personally through the black pill. I am in the land of white pill zone. I am in the land of eternal joy and sunshine. And I think everything's going to be great. If you just, everything's going to be awesome. We're all going to get through this together. And, and it's going to be fine. There's going to be a minimal amount of sexual coercion in the various cults, and it's going to be great.
So Friday the 13th was not the beginning of World War III. You say that's Sumo's telling us, don't worry, don't over black pill. This is not World War III, right?
I don't think so. I think
All
they
right.
will, as they've done most of my life, shoot each other some bit and then stop.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe this is, I've been waiting for World War III for a while. It feels like if I was a quote unquote elite, if I was a Rothschild, right, I would be looking around at this population and going, man, these people got to die. I'm not saying that that's how I feel, but if I was a Rothschild, that's how I would feel. Because you're like, oh, look, they all want it. They all want free money. They're just doing pornography all day. They're complaining. Anytime they vote for something, they want the other thing. I'm like, these guys got to go, And so if I was one of the people in charge of everything behind the scenes, I would be trying to organize World War III just to thin the herd a little bit, right? And I think maybe they wanted COVID and the vaccine to do more of that than it did. I don't think it got enough of them that they're like, oh man, and now they have to. But I don't know if they can pull it up. I think maybe even the Middle East has gotten so fat and lazy now that they're not going to fight a war. So I don't know what the poor elites are going to have to do to settle things down now. I mean, in the past it was really easy to get people to go fight and die in a ditch. It's less so now. In World War One, imagine how stupid it was. Like a guy named Franz Ferdinand, that's real, killed another guy, and now you have to spend the next 7 months in a ditch getting blown up. How stupid is that? But people did it. And now I don't think they would nearly as easily. You have to come up with some other way to get rid of them,
Death from above. We could have space-based lasers or aliens, asteroids. What do you think?
I think that the plan is just to thin the herd through making them not reproduce. To make housing prices so high.
It's already working.
Sterilize a bunch of people, huh?
You have to wait a while, right? That's the unfortunate side of that. If you're, again, speaking as if I was a Rothschild, I'm not trying to plan everyone's destruction. I'm just saying, if you want to thin the herd, having to wait on them to die, just like snipping their balls off takes a while. But it is a lot cleaner.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like the people that bought into this and actually got affected are white people. Brown and black people are still producing the same amounts, right? Which is like three times.
They were for a while. They're all on the trend downward.
I'm brown, by the way. Just what people don't say I'm racist. So I was not saying that as a racist.
No, it's okay. You can be racist. This is a place for friendly racism. Yeah. It's fine.
Santa Claus does not speak for alternate current radio or the boiler room.
I actually have legal documentation that I do. Whatever I say
I saw this coming.
Is supported by alternate current radio. I'm the official spokesman of alternate current radio legally. And yeah.
Just for the AI bot that is cruising this transcript afterward and is going to attribute this show to Santa Claus. No, take a look at the screen.
Alternate current radio does wonder if the Holocaust happened. Not me, but alternate current radio does have thoughts. They say, I remember when I first got an alternate current radio, Hesher sent me a document and it said, did you know that the doors were made of wood? And that's all it said on it. And I remember thinking, that's weird. What's that talking about? But yeah, and then they sent me another document that said 6 million seems a little high. ...
You
And
have
that
been
was it.
banned
But
from
that's not me.
calculator.
That's alternate current radio specifically.
Oh man.
Well, we can't hide any of our opinions anymore now that Palantir's on the scene. So
I know.
yeah, they know. They know everything now.
They don't know Jack.
Let's see here. Yeah, so I thought I had some video of some of these strikes. Let's see here. Allegedly.
So I actually do agree with someone this one, that I don't think Iran will they're gonna go hit them, right? And I don't think the thing is gonna really escalate like people make it sound like it will. That I don't think Iran is stupid enough to go and hit U.S. bases, because they know they cannot do that, because that means direct involvement from our side. So I think there is, it might fizzle, but again, Netanyahu is benefiting from this so much, right? This is the only thing that's keeping him actually on life support right now, with all the shit, all the crimes he committed, and actually his political position in Israel are these wars. So this is his life support. So he's gonna try to keep it going as much as he can. The thing is, Trump cannot afford politically really getting himself into this whatsoever. He's already lost most of his credit with his people, and that's gonna divide his people even further. Like the support for this is, I would say, maybe 30% in his base, and 70% is just anti-war. So he's gonna lose. Trump is gonna be the biggest loser in this one.
Yeah, there does appear to be a larger and growing faction in the MAGA movement that is no longer cool with this. Not that they were in the first place, but that voice is becoming a lot louder. Definitely. And they had the Freedom Flotilla get we were doing Sunday Wire this last week. Ruckus and I were about to jump into Sunday Wire with a tech issue that prevented us from doing so. So Patrick did the whole show solo, but we were kind of keeping an eye on the flotilla, the support flotilla to Gaza that was moving through the waters there with Greta aboard. And they were picked up by the IDF. Picked up and deported. Was that Ruckus?
I was going to ask Sumo to hit mute.
Oh, yeah, your elves are loud back
I'm
there.
eating raisins.
You're eating raisins.
Oh, sure.
Is that being too loud?
That's wild.
Sorry.
No,
They're
it's all right.
yogurt covered.
Well, if they're yogurt covered, I mean, fire at will.
That's allowed. Crazy.
Yeah, we'll allow it.
Raisins. Oh boy.
So this is gonna be interesting to watch. See what happens next here. Is this just more of the same, more back and forth? I don't know. Infidel, you're thinking that, Mystical Pharaoh. What do you think's gonna happen?
I think Iran is gonna hit. They have to hit, right? And I think if they might just go back and forth and just fizzles out.
Are they going to do like
I don't think there's
another?
anybody in the region with appetite to go into war right now.
Are they going to do another like that last one where it was like 113 missiles or something? 80 of which, or a certain percentage of which will get taken down by missile defense systems, and the rest will cause damage that we never get to see. And the media will say, "Yeah, no big deal, no effect."
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the thing is, like, Israel, like, they already killed the commander of their guards, right? There is claim of more casualties, that they killed like half of them, which I don't believe that that's true. So I wouldn't trust anything that comes out from the media. But at least the commander is confirmed from Iran side. And the damage itself on the ground of like nuclear facilities, or they say they hit like um, some of their ballistic missiles as well, capabilities. So I think we'll know more tomorrow. But then, they're going to retaliate. They're going to get in. And I don't know how much the Iron Dome will take this time, but we know it all. We all know that it failed last time.
Not as much as our Golden Dome.
Yeah, it's not like our Golden Dome. But so we'll
It's
see
crazy
how.
that the Israel Iron Dome they spent like billions on was beaten by guys in Mario Karts.
That's right.
That's
right.
so
Well,
ridiculous.
because
Like,
they wanted it to be beaten.
this whole story that they were like riding Mario Karts through the sky. It's like the most
gliding.
ridiculous thing ever. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Maybe it didn't, but it's
Well-
silly regardless. If it didn't happen, it's silly. If it did happen, it's very silly. Like a guy was on, literally, it was like a Super Mario Kart with a gun and a guy going Allahu Akbar. It's ridiculous.
Which is more believable, that or Elon Musk's space rockets that take off and land backwards?
Yeah. I don't know.
Ruckus, side note, did you happen to catch 3 or 4 nights ago a string of 20 SpaceX satellites going up? I guess they're Starlink satellites. We saw them off the back patio. Looking to the west. It's like the third time we've seen this. Just a string of 20 perfectly spaced lights heading off into orbit. And
I saw 23 of them, so no.
yeah, well,
I'm just kidding. No, I didn't see it.
All right. It's become a normal occurrence around here in Texas. It's fucking weird. If Mystical Pharaoh, back to what you were saying. You pointed out before the show, and you just referenced this, but let me bring it up here. I'll take your commentary on it. But you referenced one Hossein Salami,
yeah.
and his Wikipedia page was updated just hours ago, which you pointed out. Passed away 13 June 2025. That's so fresh. It's not even the 13th of June in our time zone here yet. I'm getting some slap back from somebody. Maybe you could mute.
Is that me again?
It might be.
Probably.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I was telling Ruckus that he's sexy in the chat. I gotta get going though, guys. I gotta bounce. I got a lot more raisins to eat, and we gotta make some toys.
All right, get to it, Santa
I
Claus.
also have a giant bottle, like a huge bottle of sweet tea, like this enormous thing. I got so much to do. I got so much to do.
Well, it seems like it, like at like 12 a.m., like raisins and sweet tea. They have a long night ahead.
Listen, you don't get to be Santa by slacking off. You work all the time. You know,
It takes a lot of green tea to be Santa. That's right.
It takes a lot of carbs.
All right, get out there and carbo load, Santa. Hey, thanks for being with us. Be sure and check out Mystical American Patriot Society, and I will be joining you there soon, hopefully sumo.
Absolutely.
All right.
Pharaoh, you should come on as well. Ruckus.
Yeah, dude, I would love to.
Let's just do this on my show.
Let's do it.
I'd love to.
Why not?
All right,
All right.
cool.
Love you all. You're all very handsome and sexy, especially you, Ruckus. If I was gay, me and Ruckus. That's all I'm saying.
Some romance right there.
All right, Santa Claus, you're out of here. You're getting creepy now. Goodbye. Just kidding. See you later, buddy. All right.
I think those raisins are fermented.
They have fermented. All right. So, Mystical Pharaoh, you pointed out before the show that this guy's page had already been updated. And this was the commander in chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That is not a slouch. That is not a nobody. Joined the IRGC during the Iran-Iraq war. obviously has a war record. Older gentleman who's age 64, 65, something like that. And he has been taken out in the attacks that happened today. This has been confirmed by the Iranian government, right, Mystical Pharaoh?
That is correct. Yeah, I think that's why Wikipedia got them.
And he's like correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I'm seeing so far, it seems like he's sort of at a similar level of prestige and popularity as Soleimani was. So this is more than just we busted up your airbase. This is we took out one of your war heroes.
That's right. That's why I think I'm interested to see the retaliation, how that will be. But the other thing I was saying is there are more reported they took more people out, but there is nothing confirmed yet. But what I saw is they actually launched, like Mossad, like did also like in Tehran, like operation right same day to I guess like to oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? To kill some of the like basically like their defense systems to allow this to happen. But they hit these people in actually like civilian buildings. So that today targets were not just like bases, right? There was actually civilian buildings. I think that's where these guys were.
So like critical infrastructure for civilians?
Critical infrastructure, and they were saying like nuclear program heads. And actually the residents. So
oh man.
And basically a terrorist act, right? Because you're going and killing
yeah. And as I have seen to this point, I've looked pretty hard. I've looked into this. I've seen about this much proof that they have any sort of weaponized nuclear program at all.
No, they've been saying they have nuclear programs since like the 70s. They're like years from producing
for it since then,
yeah.
right? Like it's just
like since.
And we all know that if they did, they're going to use it to destroy Israel and America,
our closest ally in the region, right? So we have to do whatever they say.
Well, the interesting piece is actually I didn't realize that there was an article that and I think it was in Hearts that mentioned that Iran this week or in the weekend they were actually like threatening releasing some of the Israeli nuclear sites coordinates, which was really interesting threat. But the timing itself is very interesting. Before the talks that they were scheduled to do on Sunday, right? US was supposed to resume talk again on Sunday. You saw the Trump like through social coming out like before the strike happening, saying like, "Oh, like my team is like my instructions for them is to continue discussion with Iran," right? Right before that happens, so it's like very tell me that he knew about it. And then Rubio comes out after that saying like, we had no idea whatsoever about it. They did not coordinate with us. They did it on their own. But we, Iran needs to be careful retaliating against us. Like if they should not touch American troops. And then the IDF goes and actually in Israel, they're saying, no, US was coordinating with us. So I'm like, who the hell do we trust?
Dude, it's almost the same exact thing as we just saw with the Ukraine, Russia, and the drone attack. It's like the same freaking thing. And it's a mixed message like we were talking about earlier, like removing the static from the signal. All we're getting is static. We got the same thing with that. It was like there was all this reporting and commentary around Pete Hegseth, watching live and knowing what was going on, and then at the same time Trump saying he had no idea that was happening, and now this, it's just like, what the hell? Like, are we really to believe it's that there's that much negligence, that much lack of communication, that much blundering going on? I mean, It's actually plausible. It's actually plausible that this
Mhm.
kind of stupidity and negligence is actually going on, but at the same time, it's implausible. And that's one of those mysteries that we were talking about earlier. You can choose one or the other based on your bias or your Occam's razor or your best wargaming, but we really don't fucking know which it is, and it's probably most likely a combination of the two, you know, and even darker forces.
Yeah. It's it I think what it's stage what it's so hard to under to say whether it's complete incompetence or it's actually intentional. But I actually truly believe that actually there is a lot of incompetence.
There
And
has to be.
this is just
Look at these
this is
people.
this is just where we are, right? It's actually really sad, and we said that before. There is no diplomats. There is no skills whatsoever in our of people around that can actually be in our government to do something useful, right? There is like Trump administration doesn't have any diplomats in them. Like
Right?
Rubio is not a diplomat,
You
right?
think Rubio stands a chance intellectually in a room with Lavrov? No
Lavrov, yeah,
fucking
exactly.
way.
Like
No
so
way.
it's like it's really sad because we're like freaking United States of America, and we're just like in a state where we don't have any talent or any people that capable of leading. But again, we're just reaping all what we've done by just destroying critical thinking, by destroying education. So that's what we end up with. Like basically like no leadership whatsoever because nobody have skills. Just a bunch of fools. And it's turning into like freaking like real like reality TV show. That's what he's doing with this government.
Well, back to idiocracy. What do you expect when, you know, everyone in politics is like we went from everyone in politics being these creepy like creatures of DC, right? Like all these various formations of DC swamp, just you know, with all this different money and influence coming at them. Uh, and you know, they were like the thing of TV shows. Like they would make TV shows about those types of people. Like remember the old show like Dallas or like all the way up to House of Cards and whatnot. Like that kind of, you know, elite oligarchy sort of thing going on. And now it's like we have a government that's full of fucking podcasters and people that used to work at Fox News, and they're being funded by the PayPal mafia and Elon Musk and all these tech oligarchs. And I don't know, man. It's not the MAGA that everybody wanted. Put it that way. It's not the MAGA they were advertised. It's not that at all. It's simply the pivot point into the third party or the change for one of these two parties to become the absolute technocrat party, or more likely the change for both of these parties to become the uniparty that they already fucking are
Mhm.
and be the party of authoritarian technocrats. That's what the whole Palantir story is all about.
Palantir Party.
Is the Palantir party. It is the we see you wherever you are. We know you. All we have to do is look you up. We know your politic. We know where all your money goes. We know how many rounds of ammunition you have.
There's a Palantir in my party, and you're invited. Wait a minute.
There's a movie out on the streaming services called Den of Thieves. Forget if it's part 1 or part 2, but in one of those, they're both out there. And in one of them, it has been now normalized, I noticed in movies, for the cops and robbers, when there's a cops and robbers situation, for the cops to say, do a Palantir check on them. Like that's actually a part of the dialogue of streaming films now.
With the name and everything?
Fucking A, dude.
Fucking A. That's huge.
I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I
All
paused
right.
it.
You know what?
I was
I
like,
think it
what?
is time to invest a little bit more into Palantir stocks.
And the Laura Loomer tweet, like I don't have it to hand. I thought I saved it. It's somewhere in my stack, but she's saying the same thing. She's like, it's time for a Palantir check on all these people.
Mhm.
So it's like you've got conservatives, like mainstream conservative influencers, calling for technocratic authoritarianism. When you're calling for a Palantir search, let me just make this very fucking clear. When you're calling for a Palantir search on someone at a protest, which has already been digitally put inside of a digital fence, and all the cell signals are going off of stingrays, which are multiple cell phone receivers that masquerade as cell phone towers, where they just suck up all the information on all the phones there, including their location data in real time. But when you're calling for a Palantir search on your political enemies, you're calling for the disruption of their Fourth Amendment right via a technocratic Silicon Valley / CIA funded software. That's what you're cheerleading. So you're conservative, yet you're cheerleading for random people. We don't agree with them. I'm not saying we agree with what they're doing per se, but it doesn't matter because that same thing will be deployed again and again and again as this is normalized.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, Ruckus, how long is that video? Is that it's probably
Oh, that just was sharing that with everybody in the Discord.
Yeah, do dissonance yet again. Well, I'll link that on the show page. Thanks for dropping that in the chat. They've been pitbulling on this one in a way that I appreciate, and I saw that one. Laura Loomer calls on Palantir to control immigrants and protesters. So we got all that going on. We have the Iran strike. We don't know where that's headed, but we have some ideas. We've got the ongoing ICE demonstrations and all of the stagecraft, statecraft, and mediacraft swirling around that. And we have got this going on with Palantir. That's pretty much all I wanted to hit tonight, you guys. I know I missed a couple things. Mystical Pharaoh, what do you think, man? You got anything else you want to throw out there on any of those topics or other topics you may have brought to the boiler room tonight?
No, man. I think that was a good show. Enjoyed hanging with everybody. Had a blast and looking forward for the next one.
All right, cool. Hang with me for a minute here. I'll ask Ruckus the same question. He might have something you want to comment on. Ruckus, save rounds, final thoughts. Anything you want to throw in the boiler room before I shut it down?
Yeah, I have a short list of, what is it, about 20 different articles that I wanted to get everybody's thought. No, I'm just kidding. I guess the one other big distracting type news or big event, so we'll just make a side mention of it. As you guys see, there was a big plane crash and like everybody died. Oh, wait, not everybody. One lone survivor, and everybody's going crazy over this. So it's sad that this tragedy happened, but apparently, there was a miraculous single survivor from this tragic plane crash, India Air. Yeah, there you go. Wild.
Yeah, crazy, man. No, I hadn't heard about that until Pharaoh told us about it before the show here. Air India plane crash, flight 171. Failed to gain altitude there. You can see it in this video here. I'll go ahead and run it as B-roll back there with no audio. We don't need to hear the audio of this terrible event, but you can see it bursting into flames as it goes under the horizon there. Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner operating in scheduled flight from Ahmedabad to London. According to Air India, there were 169 Indian, 53 British, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian national aboard. And it added that all the injured are being transported to nearest hospitals, but from what we're seeing so far, it looks like there was one lone survivor. So that is pretty crazy news.
Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Why does that sound so familiar to me?
Maybe because we've seen more stories like this. But don't forget the 737 MAX A lot of stories about that. So Boeing has been under a lot of scrutiny. We know that they've been having issues with whistleblowers and issues with like their mechanics not certifying or falsely certifying parts coming from places like China where they don't normally buy parts. It's a whole thing going on there with Boeing.
Wouldn't it be interesting if the sole survivor has a story that gets Boeing completely off the hook?
That's dark. That's dark. We shall
Sorry.
see. We shall see. All right. Anything else, man?
No, I'm just, like that. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, Mystical Pharaoh, thanks for being here with us tonight, man. And we'll see you this weekend for some tunes on Saturday, hopefully on Mixtape
Cheers,
Saturday.
guys. I'll try to make it this Saturday.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you there. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right. There goes Mystical Pharaoh. Ruckus, thanks for being here tonight, man. Anything you want to throw out there before we shut it down?
Tomorrow's Friday the 13th. Yay! So that's kind of fun. I might do something to celebrate. I'm just kidding, not to celebrate, but I don't know. I might create a small piece of content, even if it's just streaming my shark game. That's probably what I'll do. I'll probably do a Friday the 13th Hungry Shark game on my Twitch channel. You can find a link to my Twitch channel, by the way, up at alternatecurrentradio.com on my Daily Ruckus page. Scroll all the way to the bottom. There's like a little toggle switch if you want more ruckus in your life. There's a link to my Twitch channel. That's where I play my video game every once in a while. Anyways, so the war thing really sucks. That's the thing that I'm most concerned with. The whole summer of love thing was going to happen. We all saw that coming. But the war thing is a big problem. It's always been a problem. And to quote H.G. Wells, if we don't end war, war will end us. Thanks so much for having me. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God save this republic. Ruckus out.
All right. Thanks, Ruckus. It was wonderful having you here with us tonight. And it was wonderful having you here with us tonight as well. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Boiler Room. And hopefully Friday the 13th will go off without a hitch. And we all have a great weekend. So join us for Mixtape Saturday tomorrow. Go to alternatecurrentradio.com. Join our Discord. That's where you'll get notifications for when we go live here in the Boiler Room, or for Sunday Wire, or for Mixtape Saturday, all that good stuff. Thank you, everybody watching on YouTube, on X, and on Rumble. And we'll see you again for another Boiler Room real soon here.
That's it. Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.